So another thing has happened that is worth talking about. There are many layers of this problem, and another layer of this problem is that over the last 15 years, we went through this transformation in our economy, but not what people think. It's not a digital economy. It's not a service economy. What it became was we got rid of our manufacturing economy in order to have a suburban sprawl building economy. And that's what the housing bubble was all about for the last 15, 20 years, was ramping up the home building industry and all of the accessories and furnishings of suburbia and the industries that delivered it to replacing the manufacturing industry. So what we did was we created a new economy dedicated to building the infrastructure for daily life that has no future. That was not smart, because this stuff is all going to lose its value in every way you can imagine. Its practical value and its value for all the individuals who invested in it. And most Americans have most of their wealth tied up in their house, which unfortunately, in most cases, is a suburban house. The Realtors Association and the Home Builders Association and many economists and politicians are now saying, we're arriving at the bottom of this terrible down cycle in the real estate and building industry and activity. And I don't think that they're identifying the situation correctly. This is over. This is not the bottom of the cycle. We're not going to be doing this anymore. The suburban project is over in America. We're not going to be able to do it anymore because we're going to get into a lot of trouble with the primary resource that was used for running it sooner rather than later. So don't expect the home builders to be coming back. They're going down, and they're not coming back. And neither are the people who build the accessories and furnishings of this way of life. The strip mall builders and the big box builders and the guys who widen the highways. That's all over with. In fact, it's going to be increasingly urgent that we develop a new understanding of the land that remains undeveloped. Right now we only value it as suburban, potential suburban development. That has been our mentality for the last 60 years. But from now on, we're going to have to consider its agricultural value and its relationship with the urban human habitats around it. We're going to have to take farming a lot more seriously because, among other things that are going to be changing for us, the age of the 3,000-mile Caesar salad will come to an end. We'll have to grow a lot more food closer to home. And the places where that's not possible are places that are not going to be successful. The places that don't have a meaningful relationship with a productive agricultural landscape around them. There are additional elements of this story that nobody's even talking about. One is that the farming in the future, well, it's certainly going to have to take place on a smaller scale than the industrial farming we've been doing, which is, you pour the oil and gas-based inputs on the soil and the cheese doodles come out of the ground. We're not going to be doing that anymore, and we're not going to be doing it on that scale. But this agricultural landscape is going to be inhabited differently. It will probably require more human attention at every level, from simple labor to management and everything in between. And we're not thinking about it. We have no idea what the reallocation process is going to be. Historically, the reallocation of productive land representing wealth in many societies ends up being a revolutionary act. And so by not paying attention to this, we invite future revolutionary acts that are going to be politically very troublesome for us, and partly because we haven't thought about it at all. The city of tomorrow, I think, often misunderstood. Most of the architects and urban planners I know are lost in raptures of yesterday's tomorrow. There's been the assumption, in 3 or 4 sessions I've been in, there's been the assumption that our cities are just going to grow all over the world and in the United States. I don't think so. I think our cities are going to contract substantially. I think we're going to see a reversal of the 200-year trend of people coming from the rural places and the farms and the little towns and moving to the big cities. The energy diet of the future will not support the great metroplexes of America: Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., et cetera, et cetera. There are virtually all of them. The only difference, perhaps, is that there are a few that have additional layers of problems. The cities that are overburdened with skyscrapers are going to have a real hard time. We don't get it. The skyscraper is an experimental building type that exists solely because of cheap energy and fossil fuel. Okay, that's when it came into development, and that's when we've been building it. We have no idea how we're going to service these buildings once we get into trouble with the electric grid and get in trouble with natural gas. No idea. And we're still building them. And we're still honoring the idea that they're wonderful things. You know, the great mystifiers of architecture now, the Koolhaases and Liebeskind. You know, the guys who think that by mystifying the population, they can be regarded as supernatural beings. That whole form of architecture is going to be over. These cities are going to contract substantially, and some of them are going to dry up and blow away. Phoenix is going to dry up and blow away. First, there will be a fight over it between the Anglos and the Hispanics, and then they will discover that part of the world will not support any substantial population of any ethnic group. In Las Vegas, the excitement will be over. That will be a good thing. And for a very precise reason, because you know that Las Vegas represents America's newest leading religion, which is the worship of unearned riches, which is based on the idea that it's possible to get something for nothing, which is unfortunately a very pernicious idea, a very dangerous idea for a society to accept and make normal, which is what we've done. We've made it normal to believe that it's possible to get something for nothing. And by the way, that's partly responsible for a lot of the fantasizing and delusional thinking about alternative fuels.